I'm in front of the reclaimed sink right now. We're kind of underneath it. Let me give you a tour. We got the brand new bucket. It's filling up quick. We got the brand new sump pump that caused all these problems. Works way better than the old one too. It's not splashing or anything crazy like that. And the fully cleaned out filter system. Has nothing to do with running my business. Has really almost nothing to do with screen printing either. But need to get it done to keep things moving. So let's dig in. This all started because this. Yep, 8 years that was in the solids tank. It's very crusty.
Yes, it was 8 years ago that I bought that thing. It's called a sump pump. It just sits at the bottom of the sink and pumps the filtered water into the drain of the building. Now, I was just trying to be helpful and do some reclaim, and within like 2 screens, this thing was overflowing at my feet, which is not a good thing. We are on the 4th floor of our building, so we have a lot of neighbors underneath us. But it led to this whole cascading series of little projects that I'm going to show you today. The first part is just replacing this sump pump, and I did not really film that. It's kind of crazy to think that this whole operation hinges on having this system work, because if we can't clean screens for the next order, then we're not able to produce the next order. So when the sink stopped working, it was a little bit of an emergency, and that's a lot of my job here, is just keeping this kind of crap running. So
Oh, she's alive.
but after replacing that pump, I kind of got, not distracted, but there's all these other things around it. I figured now is a good time to replace this old rotting solids trap and to get this whole thing cleaned out, because once we started moving it around, messing with it, it really started to stink. So
All right, see you later. Ah. Oh, no. There we go.
okay, I think I got what I needed from the store. I think I'm ready.
Another one. Here it is. Got what I needed, I think. Whoa. There's an adapter and then some pipe.
So I'm going to dig into this, but first, man, the tool area, the improvement zone, the lean cave is driving me insane. I've really let it slip. I'm just going to get in there, do what I can until I feel like I'm procrastinating from the real task at hand, which is this friggin' solids trap. So let's get going. When I went out shopping for the stuff for this bucket, I was super lucky to find this thing with a flat edge. I've never really seen a bucket like this before, but I can imagine other things it's good for besides screwing on these brass fittings, which worked amazing. A little bit of white PVC pipe here for the drainage, screwed those into these new brass fittings, and then it's good to go.
Okay, here's my sink now. It's got no solid strap on it. This is what I'm using right now. It fills this bucket and then goes into here. Terrible, but here we go. I'm gonna wiggle this in here. Yeah, look at that. It's gonna sit there nice, just like it did before. I don't love the angle. I can already see it has like an angle to it, but then the pipe's gonna go straight across there. How far? Well, figure it out. It's gotta be at least 18 inches then.
Looking back at myself building this, it's kind of interesting to see how far this bucket has come. Even though it would have been really simple to make it this much better a long time ago, this is going to be a huge improvement, just with the flat side, the solid hardware, the easy to replace outlets. This thing's going to be really good.
All right, make sure it doesn't leak and then set it up. Oh my God, look how close that was to going over. That's what we want to see. It's not going to back up. It comes out of there pretty fast though. Okay, well now I can really test this. So let's get that going. Now let's move this over. Oh, here's a good example of how much stuff gets stuck in it, right? Look at all that. Yeah, this thing absolutely reeks. I gotta clean this out. I think I'm gonna wanna cut it shorter though, and put some sort of T on it. So yeah, it seems like the best way to test it out right now is just to do some reclaim. Just do a round of reclaim, watch how it works. Maybe I'll clean this sink up a little bit. Well, the solids trap, I should say. Clean that up a little bit while I wait for those first couple screens to soak. You know what I mean? First, I got this bucket for here. Sit right up against the edge. Do we even need that? I don't know. I just wanted a new, cleaner version of this bucket. And that's what we ended up with here. Not sure if I love it, honestly. This is a great example of just buying something because it's on sale or whatever. You think it's going to be a good idea. But really, it's like not solving a problem that actually exists. The problem that exists is that this thing's dirty. I can just clean it. Take a look at just how nasty this top layer is. This is months and months, probably close to a year, if not more than a year, of just all the solids and nasty stuff that makes it out of the solids trap and onto this first layer of filtration. Look at that, brand spanooch. Almost. Kinda. I still gotta dig out the other layers and clean those. I got a nice little bucket. Where is it? Here it is, looking good. Oh, it's got a flat edge. So I should be able to scoop the bottom of that thing over there. And that'll be good. Okay, let's dig this thing out. Oh, look at that. So that's both of the remaining layers. Screens kind of stuck together. I got them in the sink here. I'm gonna scoop as much of this crap out as I can instead of putting it down the drain. So let's deal with that. Or is it that stinks? That's disgusting, but this thing definitely works. Okay. And these last two screens is definitely the worst, stinkiest part of the process. This is where all of the nastiest stuff seems to settle and become stinky. But like I said, it's not stinking when we're using it. It's just when we start moving it around and it starts escaping out. But once we got them all sprayed down, this thing was looking fresh and amazing. Not brand new, but get close. So that's it. That was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. It doesn't stink day to day, but when you start taking it apart and cleaning it, that's when you really start to smell it, and that was gross. But that's done. That's my little 10 minutes while the screens are soaking in the tank to get started. I highly recommend just approaching every job like that. I don't do reclaim all the time, but when I do get in here, a little 3S, shine, sort, standardize, just try and contribute to making the space better. So that's what I did today. Got this thing a little bit cleaner. Talked about why that bucket was a bad improvement. All I wanted to do was have a cleaner one, and that's not really a good way to spend money in your business. But this flat-sided scoop bucket solves a real problem. This thing stinks now too. Look at all this nastiness here built up. But what I'm going to do is scoop it out of here into here, let the sump pump pull it all out, put the solids into that bucket of stinky stuff we dealt with earlier, and then it's done. Well, I guess put the screens back in like I said, and then it's done. Okay, I'm just going to run the water a little bit, and I have been scraping it out, which is very satisfying. Can you see that? Oh. No, you can't. So for these insanely stinky buckets, what I'll do is I'll take them and I'll put them in a back hallway here, and then let them settle. Like all the solids will settle again to the bottom, and we can start pouring the water off the top of it. So I will show you that in like a week or so. So yeah, here's one that has been sitting here for a while, and now it's just this bucket of junk, stuff that's not in the drain. And that's my little science project right there. So here it is. I'm about to do my final reclaim in my little spree of helping out here. But you know, I had to get started with a little 3S, shine, sort, and standardize this little area. I just wanted to get this table space sort of tidied up so it doesn't collect so much junk and dust, just have it looking good like it does right here. And the whole reclaim area is looking good right now after these little sink improvements. So finished my reclaim, scanned them all into our system. And this just helps us see what mesh counts we're actually using. So when we buy screens, replace screens, we can make sure that our fleet matches what we actually use. So check this thing out. It's got the new bucket in here. It's filling up quick. Got this all cleaned out and put back together. Got the new sump pump down here working. Works way better than the old one too. It's not splashing or anything crazy like that. I have about 1 million more things I want to do in here, from cable management to a new table setup for this whole sink. I would love to improve the ventilation that goes out of here. This cart that we put the dry screens on is extremely sketchy. I would love to deal with that. And then the computer we have here for recording the screens that go through Reclaim. I would love to move this whole setup onto this table here and just make this whole walkway much bigger, because this is sort of sticking out of here. It's not on wheels. I'd much rather have it on this thing, which is not on wheels either. That's another improvement. So stay tuned. I'll keep improving. You keep tuning in. We'll be back.